Another beautiful Sunday afternoon. This is Rubbin Minds. Welcome. My name is Adekoya, and thanks for joining us. We're going to be kicking off the show like we always do every week, looking back at some interesting headlines that caught our attention. It's been a dramatic week, as always, in Nigeria. All the controversy with regards to the role of Vice President Yemi Osinbajo continues to hover around. Is it coordinating the nation? Is it the acting president? Can he sign the budget or not? We're still going to be watching that space. Of course, the Chibok girls are still in the news, especially those who were released. And we do hear that they have been reunited with their parents in Abuja in the past week. And we're going to be looking at all of that and more. Here with me, of course, is Boladale Adekoya. Thanks for being here today.
It's a pleasure to be here.
Let's start with Mr. Vice President, or the acting president, or the coordinator of Nigeria. I don't know what title you want to ascribe to him right now, but before we get into details of that, he's back again in charge of the country. How will you rate his performance so far? I know we did hear something about him banning touting in the ports. On all the ports in the country. He's giving people at the ports 24 hours to clear containers and stuff like that. The last time he was in charge, we did see a lot of things sort of move twice as fast as they usually do. Are we expecting that again this time?
Yeah, I think I'm really delighted with the way the Vice President has kicked the ball rolling. The 3 executive orders are belated. However, I think it's better late than never. I think it's a commendable effort. Is a landmark when it comes to the public service, and I think he has done incredibly well. Same thing he did then the last 40 days also when he was in charge. We saw dramatic improvement in most sectors in Nigeria, and also, of course, even the forex also had a bit of impact. He had a bit of impact also on the forex foreign exchange. So I can say for the past few days now that he has been in charge, we don't know if he's acting or coordinating. Though that's a very touchy area. But notwithstanding, I think he has actually done a lot of improvements. Yeah. I'm going to commend him totally on the three executive orders.
With the budget now, we've heard so many conflicting stories. So someone says, "Oh yeah, he's going to sign it when the time comes." Someone says, "No, Mr. President, Buhari will have to sign it." So we're not sure if it's going to be taken to London or the budget will wait until it comes back. Why is that even an issue?
Well, you see, the problem is when you play too much of politics with national affairs, these are the things that springs up. I've watched so many interviews. I've seen political appointees who want to protect the interests of the country decided to go through parochial means and start making statements that are not nationalistic in nature. For the Minister of Information, you have said expertly, you have to be unambiguous when it comes to issues like this, and you're telling us you still have to see these are problems. But to talk about who will sign the budget, I would say that Section 145 of the Nigerian Constitution as amended is clear on that. The President has transmitted a letter to the National Assembly saying he's no longer in charge. Until he transmits another letter, he does not even have the power to sign the budget because President the Constitution does not recognize him as the President. President in Nigeria, the Constitution President recognizes only an acting President in Nigeria, no Vice President, no President. Until the President transmits, until Mr. Buhari, so to say now, transmits a letter to the National Assembly, he's not the President. So even him, people raising issues of him signing the budget, I think that's preposterous because that would be that would be unconstitutional.
Interesting. Still sort of leading from that now, and of course we had whispers, rumors, of course, which are completely refuted by the federal government about a coup being planned. Of course, it's the one thing I know every Nigerian is united about, saying that no, we don't want to go back to this. I don't know any Nigerian who wants that to happen at this point. But the fact that we're hearing whispers about it should be worrisome, shouldn't it?
When I heard the report, I think the Chief of Army Staff was very diplomatic in his approach. I think he tried to calm the nation with the statement he made. However, I think he raised an alarm, which every Nigerian, every patriotic Nigerian should look into. Before a press release could have gone out, definitely that means something is actually happening, and it's saddening that politicians can start looking at the root of military intervention in politics. It is saddening because no matter how bad democracy is, it is still the best form of. For now, it is still the best form of government. And if anybody is telling you military intervention is the way to go, I think most individuals that are proponents of such notions are majorly selfish. They are greedy in nature, and at the end of the day, they find out that they are the ones that still milk the economy. So if you talk about military intervention, it has never helped. There is no way in history, especially when it comes to Nigeria history, that the military intervention in government has actually helped. They will tell you there's corruption, this and that is wrong, but when they get there, they will do more. They will do greater things, worse things to the country. Yeah. So I think that is not. In all sincerity, I think that is the worst. That's the worst innovation that can come to any idea. That's the worst idea of innovation that can come to any individual in this country. Yeah.
Just to reiterate what was said by the Nigerian Army in the past week, Brigadier General Sani Usman, who's the Director of Army Public Relations, spoke on behalf of the Chief of Army Staff, and he said, the Chief of Army Staff has information about some individuals approaching soldiers, and on the basis of that, he has warned such persons to desist from this act. He also reminded them that the Nigerian Army is a thorough, professional, disciplined, loyal, and apolitical institution that has clear constitutional roles and responsibilities. And I think that's a very important thing to say, because we've been in democracy now for, I think, 18 years.
18 years.
It's 18 years now, and it's the last thing we want to be here. We have, a lot of us still have very fresh memories of what the
fellow citizens, it's not a good phrase to start with. And I think it is really important that I would have expected the Chief of Army Staff to go further. See, when it comes to coup, it's usually very bloody, no matter how you want to play it. And I think it's really important that this perceived individual should be arrested. It is really important. The proponents, the potential plotters, they should be arrested. And there's a military code that they can actually be tried, and they should be arrested. We cannot afford to leave anything to chance as far as when the coup is concerned in Nigeria. We've enjoyed a lot of political stability. We don't want to be drawn back to the holding days.
Yeah. A lot of people use the opportunity to get some sort of relevance, of course, during the week. We had members of the APC blaming the PDP, members of the PDP blaming the APC, members of the APC even blaming members of the APC, saying, oh, all of this is happening because of whoever it is. And it makes you wonder how much the politicians have probably failed us and made us still be talking about this in 2017.
Well, see, when it comes to people's confidence in public officials or public officers, I think in Nigeria it's on a very low scale and it's on a very low level, because I won't say, I think it's glaring. They said it's definitely to the deaf now, and I can tell you that most people are not happy, especially with the way things are being run in this country presently. We feel there are some. Imagine someone, a public officer, that has sworn an oath to protect the interests of Nigeria, stealing money meant for pension. So these are. So you sometimes you just feel you listen to this news, you see people, you see the ways our government, political officers are treating us, and you feel, what the hell? Yeah. But however, I think no matter how we want to play it, we still have some sort of liberty. You can still go to social media and still rant. You can still talk about it. We can still be on TV and talk about this. But when it comes to when the juntas are in power, we might not have the laws to do that. We have to close, of course. I won't be here. You won't be here, definitely. So, and the funny enough is, the funniest part of it is that when the two elephants are fighting, it's the grass that usually suffer. Most of the people agitating for military intervention, they have a British passport or American passport, and diplomatic passport. And when things go south, they get to the nearest airport, or go through the borders, get to the nearest airport in neighboring country and flee the country. But what happens to us that do not even have a flight money to feed ourselves? Not to talk about for flight. So a lot of
people have commended President Obasanjo, who in 1999, when he became president, pretty much told all military people who had held political office to resign. You know, from Colonel up, I think those who had been ex-governors, if you had been an ADC, if you had been a minister, whatever it was, and you were in the military at that time, they were all sent off from the police to the military. And people have started to say, maybe that we should be done with our politicians. Maybe we need to ban everybody who's held any political office in this country so that we can start afresh. I know it's an aside, but do you think that's a sort of thing?
No. It's not an aside. When I hear theories like this, I get excited, because I've been saying this for a very long time, and I'll still continue to say it. If you are in a country that over 70% of the population in that country are between the age range of 18 to 25, definitely you know that it is time for fresh idea in their country. And for Nigeria that happens to fall into this, we are one of the youngest country in the world when it comes to population via age. Now, if we still have public office holders. I want to use my state for example. The average age of public office holders in Ogun State, where I come from, is around 45 years old. Now, I can imagine myself, and Ogun State is a very young state as well. And people are qualified to hold these positions, but they're not being given. Imagine someone at 60, 55 getting the post of a commissioner for information, where someone outside the country, of the last election conducted in the United States, someone at around 20, 25, 27 years old got elected in an equivalent of what we call the House of Representatives now in Nigeria. But what is happening in Nigeria? Even the constitution doesn't even support someone of 30 years old, of 29 years old. So these are issues. I feel that the past or the present or the old generation of politicians, they've done enough. They have no fresh ideas. I can tell you that. They have no fresh ideas. They have no fresh perspective. They don't know how things is being run in this new generation, in this new century. They don't know. What they want to do is play politics, not mind the consequence of the generation and the coming generations. They just want to milk the nation down. I think it's time for them to step aside. I'm going to accept that notion, and I think it's something that every Nigerian also should also accept.
I just don't know if the politicians will pass it.
That's
Let's move away now from all of that and go to the Chibok girls now. They've been in the news for all the good reasons in the last 2 or 3 weeks or so, and they were finally reunited with their parents in Abuja. And of course, it was very nice to see, watch the emotional reunion of all of this. Of course, also sad for the other parents who have still not been reunited with the other girls who are still being hopefully rescued at some point. And but people are still worried as to the fact that we still are not going to be able to hear their story. They've been told not to speak to the press. They cannot grant interviews. So I know there's a good side to it. Maybe we don't want to jeopardize whatever investigations going forward, but at the same time, does it really help the situation with all the controversy that comes with that?
Why the news of their release, the Chibok girls' release, is delighting. I can say that the mode the so-called rescue mission has been carried out is not too soothing, because if you look at it, these are parents that have missed their children for the past 3 years, and again you are putting the children back in chain, because that is what it actually means now. After the old film show yesterday for the cameras and for parents to smile and the media to take it up as headline this morning, what happens afterward? The last Chibok girls that were rescued in October last year, what happened to them? The parents till now have heard stories by foreign correspondents also who have reported that most of these parents have not had one single access to their children ever since they came back. And so if you look at this scenario, then the parents might probably feel a sense of safety that where the kids are now, they are safe. But notwithstanding, the whole agony, the whole agony boils down to you having access to your kids. It doesn't have to be. You might create a program where you might make them safe and also let them have access to their parents. Maybe they see them periodically, but when you shut them out totally from the family, I don't think it's good enough for the mental state of the parents. I think they should grant them access to their children frequently. That doesn't mean that we should throw security or their security out of the window. However, I think it's really important that, to a great extent, let them have access, let them dialogue, let them sit down, let them have a sense of belonging, a sense of right to these kids. I think it's really important. I think it does. Well,
thank you very much, Boladale, Adekoya. There's always so much to talk about with Nigeria, but we'll have to take it from here and move on to other things. Thanks for being here today.